You're mine tonight, he growled, then make me yours. She dared Wild West love story, asterisk the dust choked my lungs as I spurred the wild Mustang harder into Silver Gulch. Wyoming's unforgiving heart. Blood seeped from the gash on my side where a bandit's bullet had grazed me during the ambush on the train from Chicago. My wedding dress, once a pristine symbol of the hell I'd escaped, now hung in tatters, flapping like a surrender flag in the scorching desert wind. I could feel the sting of sand whipping against my skin, but pain was an old friend by now. Harlan Black, the brute my father had forced me into marrying, was dead, gunned down in a debt-ridden brawl. But his shadows, they rode hard on my heels. His outlaw gang, hungry for the money he owed them, convinced I'd stashed it away. I had to reach Wyatt Donovan before they did. He was my last hope, the man whose memory had kept me alive through 5 years of bruises and broken promises. The horse bucked beneath me, its flanks lathered in sweat as we thundered past the weathered saloons and mercantiles lining the main street. Folks scattered like tumbleweeds, cowboys pausing mid-stride, women clutching their skirts, a grizzled miner spitting tobacco and staring wide-eyed. "Whoa there, lady," a voice hollered from the blacksmith's forge. It was old Hank Riley, his hammer frozen in the air, soot-streaked face twisted in confusion. I'd known him once, back when this town was my home, before father shipped me off to Chicago like unwanted cargo. But I couldn't stop. Not yet. My vision blurred from the heat and blood loss, the sun a merciless hammer pounding down on the parched earth. Wyoming in August was a furnace, testing every soul who dared claim it. I reined in hard outside the livery stable, sliding off the horse with a gasp as my boots hit the dirt. My side burned like fire, but I pressed a hand to it, feeling the sticky warmth through the fabric. The stable boy, a freckle-faced kid named Jem, rushed out, his eyes bugging at the sight of me. "Miss, you all right? That's a lot of blood." "Need." "The doc. I'm fine," I lied through gritted teeth, forcing a smile that felt like cracking glass. "Just here to meet my husband." The words tasted like ash. There was no husband anymore. Harlan's corpse was rotting in some Chicago alley butt. The lie bought me time. Jem nodded uncertainly, taking the reins as I grabbed my worn leather satchel from the saddle. Inside, 2 faded dresses, a few coins, and my mother's old journal, its pages filled with the silent screams of my heart. Entries about Wyatt, about the love we'd stolen in haylofts and under starlit skies, before everything shattered as I staggered toward the boardwalk. A small voice pierced the haze. "Ma, is that you, Ma?" I froze, my heart slamming against my ribs. A boy, no more than 8, darted from behind a water trough, his sandy hair tousled, boots kicking up dust. His eyes got those, eyes with the same piercing blue as Wyatt's, like the endless Wyoming sky after a storm. He stared at me, pointing at my ruined dress. "You're wearing white, just like Pa said. Like an angel come back from heaven." I knelt despite the pain, my knees hitting the ground hard. "Sweetheart, who are you?" But I knew. The square jaw, the curious tilt of his head was Wyatt in miniature. My mind reeled. 5 years ago, when father had drugged me and bundled me onto that eastbound train, Wyatt had been single, swearing he'd wait forever. We'd whispered vows in the barn, his rough hands tracing promises on my skin. Now this boy, he had a son. The thought twisted like a knife at why it moved on so quickly. Married someone else while I endured Harlan's fists and fury. "I'm Billy," he said proudly, stepping closer, his bare feet leaving prints in the dirt. "Pa told me stories about you. Said you'd come back one day, ridden in on a white horse, but yours is brown. Close enough, right?" His grin was infectious, all boyish hope and innocence, but it cracked something deep inside me. Tears pricked my eyes as memories flooded back. Wyatt's laugh rumbling like thunder, his kisses tasting of leather and wild honey. The way he'd held me like I was his whole world. And now, this child, proof that life had marched on without me. Before I could respond, a sharp voice cut through. "Billy Donovan, you get away from that stranger right now." A sturdy woman in her 50s bustled forward, apron dusted with flour, her grey-streaked hair pinned back severely. Mrs. Agnes Thorpe, the town baker and gossip queen remembered her from church socials. She grabbed Billy's arm, pulling him back with a protective glare my way. "Who do you think you are, lady? Scaring folks half to death, ridden in like the devil's own bride." Billy protested, twisting in her grip. "But Aunt Agnes, it's her. The lady from Pa's picture." Agnes shushed him, her eyes narrowing at my blood-stained dress. "Hush, child. This ain't no time for fairy tales." She shot me a wary look, whispering, "Loud enough for me to hear, looks like trouble to me. Blood and a wedding gown. Smells like a runaway or worse." The words stung, echoing the prejudices I'd fought all my life. Women like me, marked by scandal, were whispers in saloons, outcasts. In drawing rooms. But Billy kept glancing back, his blue eyes full of wonder, tugging at my heartstrings like a forgotten melody. I rose unsteadily, clutching my satchel like a shield. "I'm Eleanor Hayes," I said, my voice steadier than I felt, "and I'm no stranger. I grew up here." Agnes's face softened a fraction, recognition dawning. "Hayes, old man Hayes's daughter. The one who ran off to Chicago with that fancy gambler." Her tone dripped with judgment, the kind that stuck like burrs in this tight-knit town. Folks here valued grit and loyalty, but a woman with a past, that was poison. Before I could defend myself, a shadow fell over us, broad and unyielding. Boots thudded on the boardwalk, spurs jingling like warning bells. I looked up, and my world tilted. Wyatt Donovan stood there, taller than I remembered, his frame honed by ranch life into something raw and powerful. His dark hair was tied back. Under a battered Stetson, a fresh scar slicing across his cheek, probably from some bar fight or cattle drive gone wrong. His lineage showed in the rugged lines, Irish fire from his ma, Australian grit from his pa, who'd crossed oceans to tame this wild land. But those storm-grey eyes, the ones that had once gazed at me with tender heat, now burned with fury. "Eleanor?" My name was a growl, low and dangerous, like a wolf sizing up prey. He stepped closer, his hand resting on the Colt at his hip. The scent of sweat, gun oil, and sagebrush wrapping around me. Memories crashed in, stolen nights under the stars, his whispers of forever. The way his touch had ignited fires I thought long extinguished. But now, pain twisted his features, betrayal etched deep. "Wyatt," I whispered, my throat tight. The town faded the stairs, the whispers leaving just us. Two broken souls in a sea of dust. He grabbed my arm, not roughly, but firm enough to send sparks through me. "What the hell are you doing here? In that dress, after all this time?" His voice dropped, husky with anger and something deeper, something that made my pulse race. "You married him, Harlan Black. Left me rotting in the cavalry while you played house in the city." I flinched, but met his gaze. "It wasn't like that. Please, let me explain." He pulled me closer, his breath hot against my ear, away from prying eyes. Agnes had hustled Billy off, muttering about no good cumin of this, but I could feel the town's pulse quickening. Cowboys leaning in from saloon doors, old Hank wiping. His hands on his apron, watching like a hawk. Wyatt's grip tightened, his body heat seeping through my torn fabric. "You swore you'd wait. I came back with a ring, ready to fight your PA for you." And he laughed in my face, said you'd chosen black, that you were gone. Tears burned my eyes as the old wounds reopened. Father lied. He bored you off, didn't he? Offered you money to leave, then destroyed my letters. Drugged me the night of the wedding. I woke up in chains, Wyatt Harlan's chains. My voice cracked, the shame flooding back. Nights of hiding bruises under powder, smiling through split lips at society balls, all while dreaming of Wyatt's arms. The love we'd shared was pure, wild, like the Wyoming winds, tamed and fierce. But society, it branded women like me as damaged goods. Whispers of used and unworthy following us like shadows. He released me abruptly, stepping back as if burned. Convenient story now that Black's dead. Shot up over debts, I hear. And you come crawling back. For what? Shelter, pity. His eyes raked over me, lingering on the blood, the dress, and for a flicker, I saw the old hunger, the man who'd once called me his forever. But he shoved it down, jaw clenching. "You're mine tonight," he growled, the words laced with possession and pain, like he couldn't help himself. "If only to keep you from bleeding out in the street." My heart thundered, a mix of fear and fire. I stepped forward, chin lifted, defying the pull and push between Euster, the love that refused to die, the betrayal that festered. "Then make me yours," I dared, my voice a whisper that carried the weight of 5 lost years. "Prove you still feel it, Wyatt, or let me go for good." He froze, breath ragged, the air crackling like before a storm. Around us, the town held its breath, Hank muttering to Jem about old flames burning hot. Agnes peeking from a bakery window. Billy's small face pressed against the glass, eyes wide with confusion. Wyatt's hand twitched toward his gun, not in threat, but habit, the Hainan. Tension of a man who'd faced down outlaws and heartbreak alike. But beneath the growl, I saw the cracked boy I'd loved, the one with dreams of a ranch, a family, us against the world. A rumble of thunder echoed from the mountains, dark clouds swallowing the sun. Wyatt glanced skyward, then back at me. His expression warring. Get to the docks, clean that wound, then head to O'Leary's boarding house. Storm's cumin, and so's trouble if Black's gang catches your scent. He turned, striding away, spurs ringing, but paused at the saloon door. "This ain't over, Eleanor. But don't think for a second I'll forget what you did." I watched him go, my side throbbing, heart aching. The wind whipped up, carrying whispers of rain and regret. Billy's call of Ma echoed in my mind, a tether, pulling me deeper into this mess. Father had stolen my choices, Harlan my spirit, but Wyatt, he held my soul. I'd fight for it for us against bandits, storms, and the cruel judgments of this frontier town. As lightning forked the sky, I knew this was just the beginning. The real showdown was in our hearts, and I wasn't backing down. But as I limped toward the doctor's office, a shadow detached from the Aliyah rider in a black duster, watching me with cold eyes, one of Harlan's men. My blood ran cold. The chase wasn't over. It had just ridden into Silver Gulch, and Wyatt, with his scars and secrets, might be the only one who could save me or break me forever.